Dawodu. I'll be speaking to you about my experience working and designing in mental health, like hospitals, but we don't really like to call them hospitals, because something as clear as even the clinicians are not meant to wear uniforms. They just wear plain clothes, so that it's not really hospital per se. You can call it like a reform center, anything but not hospital. So I'll start by saying your environment has a huge impact on your spiritual, mental, and physical state of being. All yay. So good. So we're all starting on the same page. So the most vital part of designing for mental health is you need to understand the patient's condition. You have to seriously study the patient's condition before you're able to design for them. So the first aspect will be, I would say, speak to the clinicians first to understand what kind of patients you're designing for, because it varies from what Dr. Daiba said. It varies. You have bipolar, you have dementia, you have mother and baby, that's postpartum depression, you have psychosis, you have addictions, you have eating disorders, that's anorexic, patients. So you need to understand the category, because you have to categorize them into high risk, medium risk, and low risk, because this will even, determine if you're going to be apportioning rooms to each patient, or if it's going to be wards or dormitories. Yes. So the two main goals in designing for mental health is first the safety of the patients. So you have to incorporate anti-ligature into your design. I'll explain what anti-ligature is. And basically, anti-ligature is what you use to mediate the safety you need to include in the surroundings of the patient. Then how the environs will assist mental healing, that's serenity in the space. Thank you. So ligatures are points which could be used to cause self-harm, either by attaching a rope or other materials for the purpose of strangulation or hanging. So ligatures are basically in fittings and fixtures, like your lights. You have to consider, you will not use what you will use in your home, Ligature, this is until I've not gotten, sorry, I'm not here yet. I will snap when I'm ready for you. So basically, ligatures is like edges, really. Anything that will give you, not have a smooth surface on the immediate surrounding of the patient. I have some pictures that I will show you later, so you understand this more as we go along. Yeah, so anti-ligatures are fittings and fixtures that cannot be used for self-harm. They are the devices, when you install, they actually flush. When I say, we're designers, most of us. So flush means it's going to flatten into the wall, for instance. Your light fittings will flatten into the wall as much as possible. Then ligatures are tamper-proof, so it's difficult to damage them. They cannot be interfered with or changed. So anti-ligatures are very important because it can actually determine a life or death situation. So that's why you have to think of it very carefully. So anti-ligature is determined. Now, it's not, if you say something, for instance, a light fitting is anti-ligature, it doesn't mean you can fit it on any ward or any dormitory, because ligature that you will use, anti-ligature, that you will use for psychosis design or addictions design will be different to what you will use on a dementia or postpartum design. So for instance, psychosis is high risk, dementia is low risk, because someone with dementia are highly unlikely to commit suicide. their own will be things like absconding, like running away, and then because it's memory loss, that's what dementia is. But psychosis are people that they hear voices. Someone is talking to them and they're answering the person. So for instance, they can even use like the door handle to cause themselves self-harm. So designed for anxiety disorder as well will differ from learning disabilities, although you can find such patients in the same age bracket. So this is what's like, when I said examples of what this is like lights fitting that will almost flush into the ceiling. And with the door handles, you can see that with this, you can actually use to put your fingers into the actual door handle before you can pull it open. Same with this one. This is even, a bit different because this is called a thumb turn. You only need the tip of your fingers to just turn it open. But interestingly, on the other side of all this, you have your normal door handle. So that means this will be in the room. The door handle will be externally where there is visibility and traffic, human traffic as well. So your concepts, you must not have dead ends, no corners. You need 100% visibility. You must have long corridors, a lot of natural lighting, ventilation, and adequate shared spaces. Yes, so your concept is easier to adopt, like concepts like this, because you will achieve long corridors. You don't want corners where people can hide, or edges where you can't have 100% visibility. So in most cases, in your corners, you can have like your admin accommodation or your nurse stations, so that anybody in this corner, for instance, can view down this corridor or down the other corridor. Same with the other. So this is what layouts would look like, just like what Dr. Daiba showed us. It looks like that, So basically, it's just achieving the long corridor for 100% visibility. So your nurse station will be here, for instance, where clinicians can see if anybody is up to no good, or even there'll be human traffic. Now, these are generic spaces for your floor plans. Now, the thing is, in our environment, you might agree with me that the issues on mental health that's happening mostly now is addictions. And that sometimes, I think, goes into psychosis, doctor. Addictions sometimes goes into psychosis. So I based it more on what we have here. Dementia, we all still keep our grandmothers at home, even if they don't know us anymore. We don't take them into mental homes, So basically, this is what you need mostly to design for what we have here in our own environment. You need consulting rooms. I want to go, then I'll go back. No. Go. The high dependency and observation, I need to explain it, so that's why I needed a different picture. So high dependency is also called a seclusion room. So basically, you need a room for observation when you have the patient on the other end, and then you need a screen, like a vision panel, to see the person, but the person can't see you, because that's the only way you will monitor such a patient. In most cases, when patients are brought newly into like a reform center, this will be the first drop-off point, because they need to be monitored before they can now get some kind of treatment, before they can move into whatever transfer ward they'll be going into. So you need leisure rooms like art rooms and boardrooms. Now this set of people are quite interesting. You can't just leave them alone, not doing anything. They have to constantly do something. I mean, even we that maybe we're a bit normal, you can't just be alone. So they need a lot of leisure activity in their space. Of course, you need your dining room attached to your kitchen. Then conveniences, it's important that they're shared, so that if someone is going into the toilet, like 2 or 3 other people we know, somebody has gone into the toilet, and we expect you to come back out in 3 to 4 minutes. So if that doesn't happen, it might even be another patient that will, alarm, So it's important to have shared spaces. And in most cases, like there does have vision panel. I have a picture I'll show you later. Then they need common room, visitors room. They need a gym, just again, some kind of activity. Then they need, you need a lab and pharmacy. These two are very important because they test them from time to time. And then you need occupational therapy, so like catering or sewing, or in most cases, the clinician will tell you what kind of occupational therapy will be required, depending on the kind of people you are designing for. So the furnitures, for instance, I just had a few to show. There are loads of anti-ligatures, but I just picked a few. So like the wardrobe, for instance, has to be inbuilt or like screwed to the wall. You wouldn't want to have any space above like you would at home because they can hide. They can hide anywhere basically and cause any kind of... There was a situation where I had a patient hung himself from the wardrobe and he committed suicide. No, he didn't even die. He didn't die. By the time it was realized, I think he got brain dead. So he was neither here or there, but that's how crafty and intelligent they can be. Now, your burglary for the windows has to be external. Then the windows, if you're using pivoted or sliding windows, they wouldn't slide or open 100%. They'll just slide like maybe 40 to 45%, just so that they will not have, a lot of access to the outside. Another story, always, I'm sorry, I'm the one coming with all the bad story. A patient once hung himself with the burglary and he uses his shoelace. And that one it was suicidal, he died. So what I said previously, your doors should, even to the rooms, as much as possible, you need vision panels so that, inspections go on from time to time. If you're designing for like first ground floor or third floor, if you're going to upper levels, you have to, at design stage, decide who is going to be the patient's category that will be at, upper levels or ground levels. There was a situation in Niger State where a patient went into the ceiling for 2 days. And they didn't know where he was. For 2 days, he was in the ceiling. That kind of patient has no business being on the first floor. He should be on the ground floor where you have high headroom and it's decked. But if you're not going on upper levels and you're going to have those kind of patients, that means you have to provide like decking for such, spaces. Then it's important to have panic alarm systems and CCTVs because sometimes the patients can attack their carers, and it's only by like panic buttons that, anyone will know if anything is going on in a kind of space. Then serenity. I'll just talk on this very briefly because she said it already, So this is a state of being peaceful and calm. So you see, the interior needs to be warm. From what I've described about anti-ligatures, they sometimes look and seem boring, but you still have to be able to make the place a bit warm and lively. And as much as possible, let it be near home. If you have to find the balance for the place to look near home. Well, the colors, she's touched on almost all the pastel colors, but it would be nice to have like a feature wall just to brighten up so it doesn't look too gloomy. I have some pictures. So something maybe like this, I think that's orange, burnt orange. So it doesn't look too dull, something a bit. Then what I was saying about the furniture, if you notice, this kind of bed, those beds are actually bolted to the floor. It's robust, but it's still bolted to the floor because there are even cases where you have like MOD, Ministry of Defense, in facilities like this, strong, hefty men, but, they need treatments. They need treatments. Like, look at that. Look at this. There's no handle to the chair, but, I'm not going to dwell on that too much. So architecture, I'm closing now. Architecture is art when one consciously or unconsciously creates aesthetic emotion in the atmosphere and when this environment produces well-being. Thank you.